You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14.
Right now at 7, candidates interviewing for the presidency of the Fort Scott Community College come out to meet the public.
Also, Southeast Kansas business leaders meet face-to-face with lawmakers to voice their concerns and push for action.
And we have an alert day for overnight tonight. Strong to severe thunderstorms are possible, if not likely. And we could have a few strong storms through the day today. What's your forecast coming up?
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. I'm Elise Noe.
I'm Chris Warner. It's just after 7 a.m. on this Tuesday, June the 17th. Of course, we have that alert day in place for today. Really, again, overnight tonight, an intense line of storms expected, and we're going to go over those details with you soon. But all of that rain and everything else that's been going on has been causing some other problems in the area beyond just flooding.
Well, between weather and inflation, foot traffic is looking a bit different at local farmers markets. One of those is K&D Cattle in Newton County.
KOAM's Lonnie Walton reports on the impact.
My favorite fruit is apples.
I like grapefruit.
Favorite summertime fruit is peaches. Love nice sweet peaches.
Watermelon because it's refreshing.
We all have our favorites, and some argue they're even better from a farmer's market.
Yes, I love a farmer's market.
Local business, local farms, local support people,
That's what Than Thornburg from K&D Cattle Co. in Newton wants to hear when folks buy from local market. But this year, foot traffic looks a little different.
Yeah, overall we're down, and I'm not the only one. I've got other friends that are in the business as well, from Bentonville, Arkansas area, clear, north of Lamar and everything. Overall, that's the general census, is that sales are down right now.
Farmer says the cost of growing his own produce went up, and the fruit that many want right now is really not in season, meaning it has been shipped from somewhere else. And inflation has impacted those costs too.
Local stuff isn't on, as far as watermelon and cantaloupe, until July. So right now we're bringing it in. I got cantaloupe and watermelon out of Georgia, sometimes out of Texas and Florida.
Thornburg says unfortunately with those higher costs for him, he had to raise prices, but he still hopes people will support him and others.
If I'm bringing it in from another farm, you're still supporting that farm through our business.
And whether it's food or even flowers.
I love it. They are the best people, and they have these wonderful petunias, and they're on sale, and they've got great tomatoes in there also that I picked up.
Thornburg hopes to see folks continue helping markets thrive. Reporting in Newton County, I'm Lonnie Walton, KOAM News.
KOAM contacted some other Joplin area markets. Now, we were told although not all sales are suffering, the weather is putting an added burden on their produce, as you can imagine.
Yeah, certainly so. A lot of that rain, we've had the flooding concerns, but it also leads to agricultural impacts as well. And even just, your own backyard garden. Too much rain can be a problem. And we do have more of it on the way. We're going to start with a quick look outside downtown Pittsburgh. Clouds are rolling in from storms out to our west. And from the MoDOT camera, the 20th and Range line, it's almost again looking like Independence Day when the spaceship shows up over like New York and Los Angeles, Washington. That's those clouds rolling in. So here's some good news. The worst of this so far is missing us to the west, which is good. It has been bad, though, for our neighbors to the west. At its peak, this line of storms, Wichita, had wind gusts more than or greater than 100 miles an hour with this line. Now, those wind gusts have come down as it continues to slide into Oklahoma. And we still have a severe thunderstorm watch for Washington and the Wada counties until 10 a.m. But as you can see, this activity, right now, the strongest portion is taking aim at the Tulsa area, but it again continues to push off to the south and east. And those speeds, it's actually been slowing down a bit. But this is just a quick check on this line of storms. So we're talking, if you are heading down to Tulsa, maybe about 8:20 in the morning. We're looking at Bartlesville, though, here at about 7:49 if this line continues to hold on the northern fringe. It is, again, gradually weakening, which is certainly some good news. It has definitely brought some damage to the Wichita area and parts of southern Kansas. Now, what we are watching is all of this activity that is developing on the backside of this around Hutchinson, stretching up towards Salina, down south. Now, we are getting some some showers, even some thunderstorms into parts of southeast Kansas now. So Yates Center, Eureka, Howard, Fredonia, Burlington. Nothing severe with that, but that batch that's off to the west could intensify. The atmosphere is still unstable, and it could bring more strong, potentially severe thunderstorms into our area as we go through the morning and into the afternoon. So our alert day, again, is for overnight tonight. This is our severe weather outlook. It's for today, but it's really focused on tonight's storms, where we have an isolated to scattered tornado threat, a scattered hail risk, a higher end risk just barely clipping Greenwood County, and just like the storms that rolled through Kansas this morning, last night into this morning, damaging, potentially destructive wind gusts are another concern. The hatch areas here in our western counties, we're talking winds could exceed 80 miles an hour at times. Now, between here and there for today, again, thunderstorms to our west trying to work in. They could be strong to severe, but storms that we see today are going to be scattered. Again, there is that low chance of a strong to potentially severe storm as we go through the afternoon into the evening, and our severe chances ramp up after midnight tonight, and then they continue into tomorrow. After that line rolls through early tomorrow morning, we go with another risk by about, say, 9, 10 o'clock tomorrow morning with another round of strong to severe thunderstorms. And again, all hazards possible with that. Greatest concern is going to be with hail and wind. We're pretty mild out there this morning. 69 Joplin, 68 in Pittsburgh, around the region. We've had some low 70s and still have low 70s out to the west, but starting to see more of those out there. The rest of us still into the upper 60s. We're going to be about the mid 70s by 9 a.m., low 80s by noon, mid to upper 80s for most of us today. Oklahoma, southern counties could still reach the low 90s. Scattered storms here and there, and those winds out of the south gusting to 25. We're going to break down our severe threat from overnight tonight through Wednesday for you in detail here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, Chris, thanks. Well, the Missouri Highway Patrol is investigating a fatal crash on I-44 that killed multiple people. The crash happened Sunday afternoon in Crawford County, Missouri. Authorities say a motorhome traveled through the median and struck another vehicle. The collision caused both vehicles to catch fire. All 4 people, 2 in each vehicle, died in the crash. In a statement following the crash, the Crawford County Sheriff's Office said, quote, "Our hearts go out to the families forever changed by this heartbreaking event. No inconvenience or delay can compare to the loss and grief they are now facing," end quote. Authorities say all 4 people were in their 60s. And to be the first to see breaking news, weather and sports, you can download the KOAM News app. It's available free of charge in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. Just search for the KOAM News app. Well, 2 of the 4 candidates for Fort Scott Community College president met the public yesterday in a community forum. They were given a platform to discuss their views of the future and what they would bring to the college. KOAM's Ty Parks reports.
Community members of Fort Scott are on the campus of Fort Scott Community College to listen to 2 candidates for college president.
Glad for the opportunity that they would open a period of time up for community members to come and hear the interview process and be able to ask whatever question we felt like we needed to ask as community members. So this go around, same thing, same opportunity. I just felt that it was a responsible thing to do as a community member, to come out and see who the potential candidates were and learn a little bit more about them.
For some, there is one issue that stood out among the others.
Financial stability is probably the first and foremost one, and rebuilding that trust within the community that the college is stabilizing and on an upward track financially.
Overall, the community wants the same thing as the college.
See it succeed. I really do. We need Fort Scott community to thrive. I think that speaks to the health of a community, that it's here. This is not something brand new in our community. It wasn't started last week. It wasn't started 10 years ago. This community college has been here for a very long time. And it needs to continue to be here to help grow our community, to help a transition even for our students. You know, a lot of students can't go to 4-year universities right off the bat. That's a scary thing when you come from a rural, small community. But this can be an excellent bridge for them then to carry on their college career.
In Fort Scott, Ty Parks, KOAM News.
Well, the Fort Scott Community College, which was founded in 1919, is the oldest community college in Kansas. To date, the school has had 7 presidents. And those are our top news stories this half hour. Coming up next, Jasmine Kyle with the SDK Humane Society shows us how you can help your local shelter. And later, Charlene shares a nutritious pasta dish. You're watching the KOAO Morning News on Fox 14. We'll be right back, but first, here's a live look of Mackendale Park in Joplin. Well, this morning we have Jasmine Kyle at the SDK Humane Society with us this morning to share how volunteering at your local animal shelter benefits the animals, the shelter, and of course yourself. Welcome to you, Jasmine. Thank you so much for being with us this morning.
Hey, good morning.
Of course, happy to have you. So talk to me a little bit about not only volunteering at your local animal shelter, but also taking on a position, taking on some more responsibility, and how that benefits the shelter.
Yeah, so right now we actually have some cool opportunities. We have some open positions at our no-kill animal shelter. So they're part-time positions, they're animal care technician positions. But if you've ever volunteered at an animal shelter and was like, you know what, I could do this every day and just get unconditional love, you're in luck. So we have several part-time positions available with a max of about 30 hours a week. We do have morning positions from 8 to noon, afternoon shifts from noon to 4, and it spans 7 days a week, weekends as needed type of deals. But it's some of the things that, now I respect all jobs, but for a job that's not only a paycheck but gives you a sense of purpose, it does something magical for the heart. There's many benefits, especially with volunteering, that people talk about, but I think one that's really not talked about enough is the perspective change that a person can get. When you see a shelter animal come in from a difficult situation and begin to start their recovery and they start to thrive, it changes how you see strength, compassion, and forgiveness. And maybe if you're in a trying time, it really makes those small little bubbles in your life seem minuscule, especially when you have that animal get through that gap and become the best dog and cat you've ever seen. I mean, it's truly magical. Some people say, well, I couldn't do it. It's so hard. Don't. Trust me. I thought that 8 years ago before I joined. Just like what we hear with fostering, I can never do it. It's too hard. We cry happy tears when our longest residence leaves, but it is the strongest purpose, the strongest feeling that you will get to feel that fulfillment of, I made a difference, because you truly did. I mean, to a living, breathing animal, you made a difference, and they will never forget. No matter whether you adopt from us or an animal shelter, we truly say this every single day. An animal from a rescue will give you back 200% because they have been through that. They've been through the hardest times, and now they know that they're set for life.
Wonderful. And if people want to take a part of the animal shelter and to be employed there to help give back, where can they do so and how can they find more info?
Yeah, so all of our positions are up on Indeed, up on Facebook. We have those animal care technicians. I got a brand new position for our quarantine building. It's a light cleaning position. So maybe if you're semi-retired and wanting to kind of get back into the workforce, kind of getting bored and need something to do, it's from 8 to 10 and then 2 to 4 Monday through Fridays, and you can come hang out with animals too, but we got a lot of positions and a lot of opportunities available.
Well, fantastic as always, Jasmine. Thank you so much for being with us this morning.
Thank you.
Sharing a little more insight into what it's like to work at the animal shelter. Stick around, we'll be right back.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News, 7:18 now on this Tuesday morning, and we are continuing to monitor storms out to the west. Now, the good news is at this point, the severe threat is looking to miss our area completely. Now, we still have the watch for Washington and the Water counties until 10 a.m., but National Weather Service in Tulsa just mentioned the storm here that's to the west of Bartlesville is kind of split into two halves. The northern part, they said, is strong and could still impact parts of Washington and the Water counties, but the severe portion with the 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts still on track for Tulsa. So again, if your commute does take you down there this morning, just make sure you're staying weather aware with those storms. Now, we do have some scattered showers, some heavier rain, even a few rumbles of thunder working into parts of our area. Part of that storm working into southwestern Chautauqua County. And then just some moderate rainfall here and heavy rain even around Yates Center, Eureka, Fredonia, Burlington, eventually into Chanute and Iola. And then what we're watching is this mess that's back to the west of Wichita, around Hutchinson, back toward Kingman. We want to watch that because the atmosphere is still unstable enough that it could intensify. There's not a guarantee that it will, but it will very likely continue to track into our area as we head through the morning. So we're going to deal with scattered showers and thunderstorms across the area as we head through our morning and into the afternoon, and some of those could be strong, possibly severe. Our greatest concern comes after midnight tonight, and that's really what this is for. Right now, we have an isolated to scattered tornado risk out there. We have a scattered hail risk with a higher end risk just barely clipping Greenwood County. And then we have the wind concern. So that was the issue this morning. Those storms that rolled through Wichita, packing winds eventually of a little over 100 miles an hour. So we're talking, there's been a lot of damage left behind in the Wichita area. And we're going to have another round of this, except this time it's going to be rolling into our area. So in the red zone here where the numerous is, we're talking winds 70, 80 miles an hour, definitely a possibility. Hatched areas could be greater than 80. So we want to keep a close eye on this. On the future track, here comes that storm complex that's out west of Wichita now by noon. Scattered showers and storms. That is going to impact the temperatures. I know we were talking low 90s today, but with that complex and these new storm developments, it's going to keep temperatures in the northern half of our area in the low to mid 80s. It's still going to be very muggy. Heat index values are still going to be up into the mid 90s, but it does keep temperatures lower. However, down south, you're going to get a little more sunshine for a bit, be a little warmer, still low 90s with heat index values approaching 100. Scattered storms again continue through today. Some of them could be strong, possibly severe, but the risk at this point looks to be a bit lower. Again, after midnight, we start getting new thunderstorm development, and by midnight, Nevada, Fort Scott, Pittsburgh, Parsons, Chanute, Yates Center, Fredonia, Coffeyville, Bartlesville, basically here in west, we start getting some thunderstorms. Some of those could be strong to severe. Our biggest concern comes with this squall line. And it looks to be a fairly intense one. Now, it is expected to potentially be even stronger out further west. But as it enters our area, those little QLCS or those spin-up tornadoes are a possibility. It's why we have the isolated to scattered risk. But the greatest concern is going to be with damaging, potentially destructive wind gusts. The other side of that kind of gives you a clue as to how strong this thing is and the winds it could bring. This is 3 a.m. tomorrow morning. Chanute, Coffeyville, roughly this zone. 2 hours time, it's now entering Springfield, Cassville, and Bentonville. It's going to be moving very quickly. Strong, severe thunderstorms with that. Then by about 9, 10 o'clock in the southern half of our area, we get redevelopment of thunderstorms. These could also be strong to severe heading into the afternoon. And then by evening, they'll finally begin to clear out. But we do have a severe risk with that tomorrow, which does include an isolated tornado risk. But our greatest concern again with tomorrow's storms is going to be for hail and damaging wind gusts as we roll into the mid-morning and afternoon hours. As for today, again, scattered storms, a strong or severe storm possible, but the risk is a bit lower through today. Low 70s to start, low 80s by 11 o'clock this morning. As we head to the afternoon, again, mid-upper 80s out there, low 80s tomorrow, low 70s tonight, by the way, very muggy. Breezy, south winds today gusting to 25, and again tomorrow, and then we start to dry out and heat up into the weekend, going into the low to mid 90s. Let's check your forecast. We'll be back with more right after this.
Well, this morning we have our good friend Charlene Patton from the Kansas Soybean Commission with us this morning with another fantastic soy recipe. Now, this one actually won looks like third place in the main dish category for heart healthy recipes. This is from Joyce Conrad in Sterling, and it's soy stuffed shells. Say that 10 times fast.
That's right.
Good morning,
and
Charlene.
Good morning. And I thought, we're looking for some easy recipes during the summer.
Right.
Families have busy schedules.
They certainly do.
And so these soy stuffed shells you could make ahead of time.
Perfect.
You could actually make a couple of dishes and put it in the freezer.
How fun.
What I did is she uses basil tomato sauce.
Okay.
And then uses the soy sausage. And so I crumble that up and mix that with that to make our sauce, and you put that on the bottom layer.
Sure.
Now I'm making two different, this will make a big one as you can see over here, or you can make a smaller one.
How fun.
Now we're going to make the filling. So I've already put the egg in here, and you're going to add the tofu.
Okay, there
and
we
this
go.
is soft tofu, so it mixes really easy.
Wonderful.
Drain the water off of it because it's just a pressed soybean, and that water will gather in it.
Okay.
Okay, now go ahead and add our mozzarella cheese.
All right, there we go.
Yes, and then we have Parmesan cheese
Alrighty.
there. And then we have some parsley and basil.
Oh, it smells so good.
Yeah, that fresh parsley
Yes.
and basil really add a fresh taste to this. So we're just going to mix that up. And then this would be a fun activity for kids really to do, to learn to cook in the kitchen. Let them mix this with just a bowl and a spoon. And then we're going to, I've already pre-cooked our shells. These are just jumbo pasta shells. And then, gosh, let the kids fill them. That would be fun to do. And then put that in your baking dish. And just do that until you fill your baking dish up. And then you'll add the last bit of the tomato basil sauce to cover it.
Okay.
And you have a little bit more mozzarella cheese and Parmesan cheese. Put that in the oven at 350 degrees for about 35 minutes to heat it till it's warm. And you have a delicious meal for your family.
And how easy was that,
It
too?
was easy,
and super
wasn't
fun
it?
for the kiddos if they want to get involved. Now, Charlene, where can they find this recipe, and as well to call to get the soy foods guide for this year as well?
Okay, they should go to our website at kansassoybeans.org, or you can also call our 800 number 877-KS Soybean. And then since you have the kids in the kitchen this summer, how about everybody in the family look at a recipe that they can enter in the recipe contest at the state fair. The link is on our website. With the directions and the rules and the deadlines for this year. But we'd love to announce their name next year, wouldn't we?
Well, how fun would that be? Well, Charlene, as always, thanks so much for being with us this morning with another fantastic recipe. Stick around. We'll be right back.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. It's currently 7:31. I'm Elise Snowy. A major milestone for one of Pittsburgh's long-standing manufacturers, Pitt Plastics, celebrates its largest expansion in 3 decades. A ribbon-cutting ceremony yesterday marked the expansion that adds more than 200,000 square feet to the company's total footprint in Pittsburgh. They say the expansion will allow them to grow their customer base and support future revenue, both for the company and the community. The event gave local officials and the chamber a chance to tour the space, which was completed earlier this year and is now fully operational.
It's very important to keep investing back into our existing business. We've been here since 1972. Our original owner, was Gene Bicknell, a very, very strong proponent of the Crawford County and Pittsburgh area, and we just want to continue his legacy.
Now, with the new space now in use, the team at Plastic says they're focused on the future, investing in infrastructure, workforce growth, and customer service. The future of the Joplin public transportation took center stage during a public meeting in Carl Junction last night. JATSO, the Joplin Area Transportation Study Organization, announced the kickoff for updating the Metropolitan Transportation Plan, including the launch of an online community survey, and invited the public out to weigh in on the topic. The organization held the event as part of a series of public houses, complete with interactive exercises with maps and graphics and information about the project. The next meeting will be held tonight in Webb City at the Mining Days Community Building, then tomorrow in Joplin at the City Hall 5th floor council chambers. Both meetings are scheduled to take place from 4:30 to 7 in the evening. And the Pittsburgh Fire Department is conducting hydrant flushing in the area from Rouse Strait to the east city limits and from East 20th to the north city limits. Officials say the flushing may temporarily cause discolored water. While it's not hazardous, residents are advised not to wash white clothing during this time. Now, if you do notice discolored water, run cold water taps throughout your home for 5 to 10 minutes until the water runs clear. Now let's head over to Chris for a quick look at your forecast.
We're going to start with the Skywatch Storm Tracker out there, where we still have that severe thunderstorm watch for Washington and Newada County through 10 a.m. in Oklahoma. No warnings in our immediate area, which is definitely some good news, but we still have storms we need to watch. So this complex, the strongest portion of it, is pushing toward the Tulsa metro area at this point. So if you're commuting down there or you know somebody who is, just make sure they are weather aware. Up to the north, this part of the storm is still on the strong side, but is no longer severe, and it is clipping southern parts of Chautauqua County. North of that, though, we've got some scattered showers, thunderstorms, nothing strong, nothing severe, but some moderate to even heavy rainfall. Yates Center, Eureka, Howard, Fredonia, now starting to reach into Iola and Chanute. What we are also watching is this mess out here that's rolling into Wichita right now and stretches back to the north towards Salina, or southwest of Salina. Nothing severe with it at this point, but it will have that potential to intensify as it continues to push to the east into our area. So it is something we will watch closely, not expecting anything major. It's overnight tonight. That's why we have our alert day. It's going to be after midnight tonight when we're going to start to see opportunities for more significant strong to severe thunderstorm chances out there. This is what it looks like, again, heading into the night as we stand now. An isolated to scattered tornado threat out there. Scattered hail risk, a slightly higher risk clipping parts of Greenwood County. And then we have the wind risk. And just like what Wichita saw this morning, now they saw winds gusting upwards of 100 miles an hour. We could still see 70 to 80 mile an hour winds out there with these storms overnight tonight. Between here and there, though, there's that complex out west of Wichita now by noon pushing in, giving us some scattered showers, thunderstorms. Not everybody's going to see something, but those that do, some of these again could be strong to severe. And again, that threat really ramps up after midnight tonight. And then tomorrow, around 9-10 a.m., we get redevelopment of new thunderstorms that could be strong to severe as well. All hazards possible again, but the greatest concern tomorrow by mid-morning and to the afternoon is going to be with large hail and damaging winds. 69 in Joplin right now, up to 70 in Pittsburgh. Temperatures across the region starting to climb, upper 60s, seeing a few more of those low 70s out there. Our southern counties could still reach the low 90s, get a little more sunshine. The rest of us mid to upper 80s with those scattered storms, south winds gusting upwards of 25. Still muggy, though, so heat index values, regardless, are going to be up there, so be prepared for that. We're going to have another look at your forecast, break down all these severe threats for you as we head into the overnight and Wednesday afternoon here in just a few more minutes. Elise.
All right, Chris, thanks. And don't forget, you can be the first to know about the day's weather with the KOAM Skywatch weather app. Get severe weather updates sent straight to your phone free of charge. It's available in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store, the KOAM Skywatch weather app. And that's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. We'll hear how a transplant surgery brings new life for one man. We'll be right back, but first, here's a live look from McIndoe Park in Joplin. In Consumer Watch, new research showing how time outdoors can do wonders not just for your well-being, but also for your wallet. Fox News' Ted Lindner takes a closer look.
Frugal folks looking to stretch their dollars may want to head for the hills. While previous research has shed light on the positive health effects of spending time outdoors, a new study finds being close to nature can save you hundreds on healthcare costs.
We just completed a study with over 5 million people with one of the largest healthcare insurers in the whole country, Kaiser Permanente.
Matt Browning, associate professor at Clemson University, explains.
We found that people who live closer to nature are less likely to spend more on healthcare, and that actually translates to dollars and cents, not just for people, but for employers and for the entire country. That economic benefit we found is nearly $400 per person per year. When we spend time outdoors, we're less likely to get sick. Our immune function is better, we are happier, we're more likely to talk to people and feel trusting and bond with other people, and we're more likely to be physically active. And all of these things lead to a higher quality of life and less risk of many different chronic diseases.
And there's many ways to capitalize on the benefits.
People can benefit from spending time in nature just by looking at it, or just hearing it, or doing something much more immersive, like going for a hike in a forest with birds calling and waterfalls.
But the nature you immerse yourself in doesn't always have to be natural to be effective. Professor Browning says virtual reality headsets can transport you to different landscapes and provide similar positive effects. Ted Lindner, Fox News.
That's a look at today's consumer stories. Let's take a look at the market prices before the opening bell.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News, 7:43 on this Tuesday morning. Still have that severe thunderstorm watch for Washington, Nevada counties through 10 o'clock in the morning. Otherwise, any severe risks still staying outside of our immediate area. And we put on the radar here, and you can see new severe thunderstorm warnings coming in, stretching into Tulsa now. So again, if you're commuting that way, you know somebody who is, just make sure that they are up to speed on the latest with these. They're 60-mile-an-hour winds as these storms continue to push off to the southeast. Still some stronger storms now just west of Washington County and stretching into southern Chautauqua County. And then we just got some showers, a few rumbles of thunder here, some moderate rainfall, Yates Center, Chanute, Iola, Fredonia, Howard, Eureka. Nothing strong or severe with that activity. What we do want to watch is this kind of cluster of chaos over here toward Wichita. Not severe by any means, but the atmosphere is still unstable enough it could intensify. It's not looking likely, but it is something we'll monitor because it's that cluster that's going to begin to work its way into southeastern Kansas here in the next few hours. And so we'll just, again, keep an eye on it. Our greatest concern comes overnight tonight, and that is going to be with the severe threat with a squall line that we're expecting. We're going to show you that in a moment. All right, so here's our hazards. It's, again, day one, which is today, but again, this is really for after midnight tonight. An isolated to scattered tornado risk. Additionally, we have that scattered hail risk, and our greatest concern is going to be with damaging wind gusts. In the red zone here, that numerous, we could see 70 to 80 mile-an-hour wind gusts. And then in the hatched areas in our western counties, those wind gusts could exceed 80 miles an hour. So a very potent line of storms expected tonight. Here's that complex that's out west of Wichita, or moving into Wichita now. Future Track's got it here by noon, might be here a little earlier. So we'll have some scattered showers, thunderstorms, and again, throughout the day, some of these storms could be strong, possibly severe, but the overall risk through the day today is lower than what we're expecting overnight tonight. Now, with the clouds and any potential rain up in the northern half of our area, it also keeps our temperatures down. Unfortunately, it's still going to be very muggy, so we're still talking heat index values into the mid-90s. And then down south, low 90s, still a still likely as highs in Oklahoma especially, so heat index values there could again reach to 100 degrees easily today. Here we are at midnight. Thunderstorms begin redeveloping. We get some of these. Some of them could be strong to severe, but the greatest concern again is with this squall line, and here it is by 3 o'clock Wednesday morning. Should really be entering our area very closely behind the initial round of storms, about 1, 2 a.m. By 3, Yates Center, Chanute, Coffeyville, Fredonia, Bartlesville, Newada, that's where this thing is. We're looking at the potential again for damaging to potentially destructive straight line winds. We've got to watch it very closely. And if we get any notches on that thing, that's where we get that potential for those brief spin-up tornadoes. But again, the greatest concern here, I want to emphasize this, is with damaging winds from this line. Here's the other thing, to give you a clue as to the winds it's going to be packing and how fast it's moving, because that impacts its winds at the surface. This is 3 o'clock tomorrow morning, again, Chanute to Coffeyville. By 5 a.m., if this thing holds like this, we're talking it's already into Springfield, Cassville, Bentonville in just 2 hours. It's going to race through pretty quickly. Once it's done, we get a brief pause, and then in the southern half of our area by 9, 10 a.m., we get redevelopment of new thunderstorms. These will be strong to severe as well. All hazards are possible with those storms as well, but they'll begin to exit by the evening. The risks are a little lower with that line in our area, but we do have that isolated tornado risk tomorrow for the midday storms, the mid-morning storms, and then a hail and wind risk out there as well. So we got a lot to watch over the next couple of days. Here we go. This morning, low 70s by 8, low 80s by 11 o'clock this morning. Some scattered storms again possible, and a strong or low-grade severe storm is going to be possible out there as well. Most of us mid-upper 80s, low 70s tonight, mild and muggy. Low 80s tomorrow, south winds today and tomorrow gusting upwards of 25. Once we're done with those storms Wednesday evening, we clear out and heat up into the weekend, low to mid-90s. Let's check your forecast. We're back with more right after this.
Well, a patient from Switzerland is visiting Philadelphia and returning to the hospital that changed his life.
Doctors there gave him back the ability to use his hands. Stephanie Stahl reports.
Texting on his phone for the first time in 17 years. For Luka Krzyzanat, it's a milestone, along with being able to pick up a bottle of water.
So it gives me so much joy to be able to do that completely on my own.
The 29-year-old from Switzerland is back in Philadelphia at Penn Medicine, months after having a double hand transplant.
I started hoping for this as a child.
He says when he was 12, a strep throat wasn't properly treated and turned into a deadly sepsis infection. His hands and legs were amputated to save his life. Prosthetics worked for his legs, but not his hands.
You need your hands to survive. You need it for the most basic independence in life.
His family turned to the City of Independence and the world-renowned transplant team at Penn to give Luka his dream.
Regaining hands after 17 years, I don't think there is a bigger dream than that.
It took years and a long interruption with the pandemic, but in the fall, the family moved to Philadelphia to wait for the call that finally came from the gift of life. Finding a good hand donor is especially complicated. There has to be a match not only for blood type, but also skin color, age, and size.
With hand, there are a lot of structures that need to be hooked up.
Dr. Benjamin Chang was part of the Penn team that performed the 10-hour surgery.
No, it's just cold.
And now Luka is slowly regaining mobility with his new hands and can feel hot and cold water and texture.
I am regaining function every week, every month, but right now I still need a lot of help.
Luka has moved back to Zurich. This is his first time back at Penn since the transplant.
I've been waiting to do this for a long
Me as
time.
well. How are you doing?
Great. And you? You look wonderful.
Dr. Cheng says as the nerves continue to grow, Luka will get more function and feeling in his hands.
It is still a miracle today to have two hands, basically, because I did not have that for almost 17 years.
If you had an opportunity to talk to the donor family where you got these hands, what would you say?
I would want them to know that they changed not just my life, but my family's life forever, and that we're deeply grateful.
Looking forward to a new life, thankful for his time in the city of brotherly love.
Certainly impressive.
Yes.
And of course, we've got the threat for strong to severe thunderstorms overnight tonight. So we're going to take one more look at our risk areas. Again, overnight tonight, we have the isolated to scattered tornado risk, scattered hail risk, and we're more concerned again with the potential for damaging winds, potentially destructive winds, especially into our western counties with a line of strong to severe thunderstorms. So what we've got this morning and into the afternoon, some scattered storms. A strong or severe storm is possible, but the risk is considerably lower out there. It'll be after midnight tonight that we get thunderstorms out there, some strong to severe, and then by about 2-3 a.m. here comes this squall line, which we've got to watch very closely for that potential for destructive or at least damaging winds. And then by midday Wednesday or mid-morning Wednesday, another round of strong to severe thunderstorms out there with all hazards once again possible. Be back with more right after this.
And here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. The Missouri Highway Patrol is investigating a fatal crash on I-44 that killed multiple people and left a community in mourning. The crash happened Sunday afternoon in Crawford County, Missouri. Authorities say a motorhome traveled through the median and struck another vehicle. The collision caused both vehicles to catch fire. No one survived. The Pittsburgh Fire Department will be conducting hydrant flushing from Rouse Strait to the east city limits and from East 20th to the north city limits. Officials say the flush may temporarily cause discolored water. Now, if you do notice discolored water, run cold water taps throughout your home for 5 to 10 minutes until the water runs clear. That's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door.
All right, and again, alert day for thunderstorms after midnight tonight, with wind being the primary concern here for damaging, if not potentially destructive, straight line winds with a squall line that's going to roll through the area. So again, through the day today, scattered showers, some thunderstorms, some of those could be strong, possibly severe, but our greatest concern again comes after midnight with thunderstorms rolling in and that squall line you see. And take a look at how fast it moves off to the east right before the KOAM morning news. So of course we're going to to be here watching that. Then we have a severe threat again by mid-morning on Wednesday with more thunderstorms redeveloping in the southern half of our area. Those will very likely become strong to severe. All hazards possible with those as well, but again, the greatest concern is going to be with large hail and damaging wind gusts. So a lot we want to keep an eye on. Mid to upper 80s today, still muggy out there as well. South winds gusting to 25 today and tomorrow. Low 70s tonight, low 80s tomorrow. And then we'll finally clear out heading into the weekend. Unfortunately, we get really hot too. Going to low to mid 90s, heat index values could easily reach 100 degrees, if not a little higher rolling into the weekend. So make sure if you got weekend plans that you are prepared for the heat. And of course, we'll continue to monitor the storms as they push through the area this morning. If of course any new watches or warnings come up, we will certainly let you know. And thank you for hanging out with us this morning. We're back at noon with more news and weather.
Have a great rest of your morning.